They laughed at him. They looked at his boots, his worn jacket, and asked a question meant to humiliate him. Are you going to pay with cow's milk? In that moment, a simple farmer was dismissed as nothing more than a joke. But what they did not know was that this man was about to return with a response so powerful it would silence an entire showroom. Today's story is not just about money, it is about respect, patience, and the danger of judging someone by appearances. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share this video with someone who believes in hard work, and comment below what you would have done in his place. Now, let's get started. The morning began before sunrise, when the land was still wrapped in silence and the air carried the scent of damp grass. João moved steadily through the barn, his steps familiar and unhurried, checking equipment, greeting workers with quiet nods, and listening to the low, calm sounds of the cattle. His hands were rough, his clothes simple, but his mind was sharp. Years of discipline had built this farm into one of the most reliable dairy operations in the region. Contracts were signed months ahead, payments always on time, quality never compromised. Today, however, his routine would break, because growth demanded change, and change required new vehicles. For weeks, his accountant had insisted it was time to replace the aging trucks that carried milk across cities and towns. Breakdowns were increasing, maintenance costs rising, and demand expanding faster than expected. João finally agreed to purchase a new fleet, not out of luxury, but necessity. 12 trucks would secure distribution routes and protect his workers from constant delays. As he prepared to leave the farm, he glanced once more at the fields stretching endlessly before him. This land had taught him patience and resilience. Whatever awaited him in the city, he would face it the same way he faced droughts and storms, calmly and without fear. The dealership stood like a glass fortress in the heart of the city, shining and imposing. João parked carefully and stepped inside, instantly aware of how out of place he looked. Polished floors reflected expensive cars, and salespeople in tailored suits moved confidently among clients who looked like they belonged. João stood still for a moment, adjusting his jacket, his boots leaving faint marks on the spotless floor. He waited, observing, while conversations continued around him as if he were invisible. No greeting came, no welcoming smile, only quick glances that slid away without interest. After several long minutes, a salesman finally approached, his smile sharp and rehearsed. His eyes scanned João from head to toe, lingering just long enough to judge. When João explained calmly that he wanted to purchase multiple commercial trucks, the salesman's expression shifted from polite curiosity to open disbelief. The word several was repeated mockingly, as if it were a joke. When João stated the number, 12, the salesman laughed, loud enough for others to hear, drawing attention that made the air feel heavier and colder. Questions followed, not professional, but probing and insulting. How would he pay? What business he ran? When João answered honestly that he was a dairy farmer, the reaction was immediate amusement. The salesman's tone turned sharp, dripping with sarcasm as he suggested João was in the wrong place. The implication was clear. A man dressed like this, working with cows, could not possibly afford such vehicles. Each word was designed to reduce João to a stereotype, stripping away years of effort with careless cruelty. Then came the remark that crossed the line. A joke about paying with cow's milk, delivered with a smirk and followed by quiet laughter from nearby staff. The words landed hard, not because they were clever, but because they revealed how easily respect vanished when appearances did not match expectations. João felt anger rise, controlled but intense. He did not shout. He did not insult back. He simply held the salesman's gaze, his silence carrying more weight than any argument. Choosing dignity over confrontation, João turned and walked out. The glass doors closed behind him, sealing the humiliation inside. Outside, he inhaled deeply, steadying himself. He had been underestimated before, but this time, he decided the lesson needed to be complete. He made a phone call, brief and precise, setting plans into motion. His voice was calm, almost gentle, as if discussing routine farm matters. What followed would not be revenge, but truth presented in undeniable form. An hour later, engines rumbled into the dealership parking lot, one after another, forming a powerful line of identical trucks. The logo on their doors was known nationwide, trusted and respected. Employees inside froze as they watched the convoy arrive. When João stepped out at the front, his posture confident and composed. The laughter from earlier felt distant and foolish. Without raising his voice, without anger on his face, he walked back into the showroom, ready to continue a conversation that had been cut short too soon. The moment Joao stepped back into the dealership, the atmosphere shifted as if the air itself had grown heavier. Conversation stopped mid-sentence, footsteps slowed, and every pair of eyes followed him. The salesman who had mocked him earlier stood frozen near a luxury car, his confident posture collapsing into visible unease. Joao did not rush, did not look around for validation. He walked with the same steady pace he used on his land, grounded and certain, as if the polished floor beneath his boots were no different from soil. He approached the salesman calmly and repeated his request, this time with quiet authority. He explained the specifications of the trucks he needed, the refrigeration units, the service plans, and the delivery schedule. His words were precise, informed, and professional. It became painfully clear that this was not a man dreaming beyond his means, but someone who understood logistics, investment, and long-term planning better than most people in the room. The salesman struggled to respond, his earlier arrogance replaced by stammering politeness. Sensing the shift, the dealership manager hurried over, his expression tense but controlled. He listened as Joao restated what had happened earlier, not with drama, but with clarity. Joao did not exaggerate, did not insult anyone. He simply described the behavior, the laughter, and the comment about paying with milk. The manager's face tightened, understanding immediately what was at stake. He apologized sincerely and assured Joao that such behavior did not reflect the company's values. Joao accepted the apology without satisfaction or pride. He made one thing clear. He was not there to be treated as special, only as equal. Respect, he explained, was not something reserved for people in suits or luxury watches. It was something every customer deserved, regardless of appearance or profession. His words were calm, but they carried the weight of experience, the kind earned through years of responsibility and leadership. The paperwork began soon after. Contracts were printed, numbers confirmed, and bank transfers authorized. The accountant accompanying Joao verified every detail, leaving no room for doubt. 12 trucks were officially purchased, along with extended warranties and maintenance agreements that would secure business for the dealership for years to come. Employees who had laughed earlier now worked in silence, aware that their assumptions had cost them more than embarrassment. Before leaving, Joao turned to the salesman once more. There was no anger in his eyes, only a quiet firmness. He spoke about work, about waking before dawn, about responsibility not just to oneself, but to employees and communities. He explained that milk did pay for those trucks, not as a joke, but as the result of discipline, patience, and respect for honest labor. The salesman lowered his head, unable to meet Joao's gaze. Outside, the engines started one by one, deep and powerful. Joao's drivers smiled with pride as they took their places behind the wheels of the new trucks. The convoy rolled out of the lot smoothly, leaving behind silence and reflection. From inside the glass building, the dealership staff watched, understanding that they had witnessed more than a sale. They had witnessed a lesson. Back at the farm, the trucks lined up neatly as the sun dipped low. Workers gathered, touching the clean metal, their faces filled with excitement and gratitude. Joao thanked them quietly, reminding them that growth came from teamwork and integrity. The land, the animals, and the people were all part of the same system, and respect held it together. That evening, as Joao stood alone near the fields, the sky glowing with fading light, he felt no bitterness. He had not sought revenge, only recognition of truth. He knew that many people carried wealth and wisdom that could not be seen at first glance. His story would spread, not because of money, but because it challenged the habit of judging too quickly. In the end, the lesson was simple and lasting. Never underestimate the power of quiet confidence. Never mistake humility for weakness. And never forget that dignity, once denied, has a way of returning stronger than before. The farm settled into night, engines silent, cows resting, and Joao walked home knowing that tomorrow would begin the same way it always had, with honest work and a clear conscience.